first of all, was it true that Kareem used you to bother Shaq at that time? That I think that was a 61 point thing. I mean, he kept on insisting that it was you. It was Keith
Right.
Plus.
Right. Yeah, I had nothing. It wasn't me at all. I didn't even play that game. I think he was talking to Michael Oliver Candy
Oh,
or Brian Skinner. Yeah, most of that game, I was out with back spasms. I'm in street clothes. Most of that game, I was back in the family area with my infant son,
hmm.
you know, playing with him. You know what I mean? So yeah, I saw bits and pieces of the game, what was happening. I just felt bad for the guys, and you know, but what could I do?
Okay. Any idea why Shaq mentioned you?
He's a very jovial guy, playful guy,
Hmm.
and he's on the right platforms to do it. So anytime he's got a chance to take a jab at someone, a playful jab at someone, he's gonna do it. I don't
Okay.
blame him. I do the same. I'm the same way.
Okay. I just wondering why of all the players that he could name, why would that you, someone I know, someone why Keith Plus? I was wondering
Yeah,
why. So I was really I need to talk to Coach Keith. I need to clarify this if this is true. Because the for the many times that we've been talking, you haven't mentioned that. You didn't mention we were talking about Kobe, yeah, right?
right,
Never about
right,
Shaq.
right.
Yeah,
And
so
it's strange. People are still talking about it to this day. 24 years later,
mm-hmm,
uh, they still don't know that I didn't play.
mm-hmm.
But because he said it on television, it had to be true. So my only response to them is, oh man, check the box score. How much did I give him?
Right. Yeah.
And then they come back later after checking. Wait, you didn't play. Why did he lie and say, that he scored 61 on you? And it is what it is.
Okay. Well, but is the part about Kareem true also? I mean, was it Kareem telling you to guard him, or
Yeah, it
just
wasn't.
other player? Yeah, any other player,
Yeah,
just Kareem.
he was talking to another player. Yeah, he wasn't even talking to me.
Oh, all right. So you had no chance about, I mean, Kareem guiding you. Okay,
No, not at all. Especially in the
that's
game that I wasn't playing.
okay. That's so strange.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
about Shaq.
But you got
Anyway.
you got to look at he's got Shaq in a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's got bloopers of players. He's a funny guy.
Uh-huh.
And he can actually do comedy
Okay.
if you wanted to.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because he's very believable and he's a
Okay.
hell of a storyteller.
Uh-huh.
And that's how comedians thrive by through the art of storytelling.
Okay.
You
If
know,
not
and as
Shaq,
long as it's got a funny punchline, then hey, they've got a winner. And I happen to be the punchline for the last 24 years for a game I didn't even play in.
all right. Okay, Coach. If not Shaq, during your prime, who? Let's just set the record straight. Who were the centers that you really guarded? And well, just name some who you can remember.
Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Big Country, Bryant Reeves, Patrick Ewing, sparingly because he was either injured or sick
Mhm.
most of the time. Alonzo Mourning,
Oh,
Sean Bradley, George Mirasan, Ike Austin, who was a power forward center. Um, Tim Duncan flirted power forward center, but primarily power forward back earlier in our career. Uh, I'm missing who am I missing? Carlos Rogers,
oh yeah.
Toronto,
Mhm.
Marcus Camby, Keon Keon Clark, who was in Houston, Portland, Houston. Thomas Hamilton, 7'3" kid out of Chicago with Houston. Um, of course, Winnington, Purdue, from the Bulls. Luke Longley, Irvin Johnson, Milwaukee Bucks, Theo Ratliff, Matumbo. Played against some pretty solid competition.
Those are a lot. But I got it.
Matt Geiger. Matt Geiger, when he was in Charlotte, Matt Geiger pump faked me on the baseline, drove middle, and dunked on me.
Okay.
I thought I was going to time it just right, and get it real pretty like, and I missed it. I mistimed it, and he just slammed it hardcore on me. One hand tomahawk, boom. And, who else? Big man center, big man center. I can't think of anyone else right now. I'm missing a few guys.
That's okay, coach. Those were a
Jim
lot
McIlvain,
already.
Jim McIlvain,
Oh,
Vlade
okay.
Divac.
Oh, bloody.
Yeah, Vlade Divac when he was in Sacramento. Scott Pollard,
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento. Um, sheesh. Who was New Jersey's center? Jason Williams,
Yeah, the one who got into
Todd
trouble.
McCullough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, coach. Of those lists that you mentioned already, there are two interesting names for me there. They've been
yeah.
notorious for their elbows and I don't, elbows, just to say elbows. Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo. Did you ever get anything out of them? Oh, okay. Oh, Kevin Willis,
Kevin
yeah,
Willis,
with the
Houston
Hawks.
Rockets. This was when I first started wearing the mouthpiece
Mm-hmm.
because it was a very physical era. So I had to start wearing the mouthpiece. We're playing in Houston. Was it Kevin Willis or was it Kevin Willis? Who was the other big strong one? Oh man, there's one more I'm missing. But I went up for a rebound. Big man snatched it and pivoted around with the elbows out, like, chin the ball, how we're taught,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And he did it. And I happened to be right there in range. And he clipped me in the jaw, rung my bell. I saw the flash of light and everything. I got that loud ring in my ears,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he caught me by my jersey and held me up so I wouldn't fall,
Mm-hmm.
and pulled me in close to him and said, "Sorry about that, young fella. You all right?" And he held me for a few seconds, while I cleared up. You
Dizzy.
know, these guys, these guys were not only strong, but the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had no problem showing off that strength. Throwing those muscles around. Um, Alonzo Mourning, my rookie year, we were playing a game at the Anaheim Pond, and we had they were on defense. I blocked his hook shot, and as we're going back down court, I went up and then I score on him. And so as we're coming back down on defense, he's running with me and he's talking to me. He says, "Yeah, young fella, that was great defense. That was a good block. Most of the time, people don't get that. You're a little longer. I'm gonna have to, adjust." And so, I said, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to do my job." And as soon as I said that, I'm not realizing that he's got me underneath the basket, directly underneath the basket. He elbows me in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down, gasping for air because he knocked the air out of me. And no, he didn't elbow me in the stomach, excuse me. That's the time he elbowed me in the throat.
Oh.
He elbowed me in the throat. And that's when I go back and I'm here holding my throat. He seals me, gets the ball, and just goes up and just, monster dunks it over me. There's nothing I can do because I'm sitting there gasping for air, you know, feeling like my throat was getting ready to close.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So that was my first lesson in not getting too friendly with the competition,
Mm-hmm.
because they'll rock you to sleep. And as soon as they get you in a position, they'll take advantage. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what he did.
Right. Any trash talking with any of those big men?
Eddie Johnson,
Oh, Eddie
he was
Johnson.
with, yes, Eddie Johnson. Man, he's sitting on a baseline on the floor, shoes off, and he's talking trash to me, about how skinny I am and how, I'm not going to be able to do anything, where's your skill at? And I'm looking at him and, I had some choice words for him that I can't say here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he's just sitting there laughing, but it threw me off for the next few minutes on the court because it was our first exchange,
Uh-huh.
you know. and then having to be with him trash talking from the bench of all places. I spend a lot of time on the bench myself, so I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Uh-huh.
it just really threw me off. And then I realized later, okay, the veterans from time to time, they're going to say some crazy stuff to you to just for the purpose of throwing you off and seeing the way that you react. They get a kick out of the reactions. And so once I figured that out, I let people talk and then I started talking back, but being mindful of what I was, trying to accomplish out there on the court.
All right. Eddie
They
Johnson.
look for little they look for ways to get in your head to
Yeah.
mess with you.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Coach, you were with the Clippers, right? This was when you were with the Clippers. So it
Yes.
was Johnson with well, it was Sonics or the Suns? Where did he play then?
He was with the Sonics.
Oh, Sonics. Okay, the Sonics.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Coach? Any memorable experiences with David Robinson, Team Olajuwon, or even Patrick Ewing if he played any
Robinson and I we never interacted
Okay,
really.
okay. But
You
in the
know,
court,
yeah, it was just all competitive with him.
all right.
It was just all business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Olajuwon, the first time I crossed paths with Olajuwon, it was on my 18th birthday.
Oh.
The Rockets were in town to play against the Clippers when Dominique was there.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is the incident where Dominique refused to give me an autograph for my 18th birthday and kind of, waved me off and gave me an ugly look. And Olajuwon was walking behind him. And he looked up at me and looked at Dominique and just shook his head. And I told Dominique, I had some choice words for him and told him, I'm going to be in the NBA and one day he's going to want my autograph.
Mm-hmm.
That was on my 18th birthday. So fast forward now, 3.5 years later, I'm a rookie in the NBA. We're playing against the Houston Rockets. And Olajuwon comes up to me and says, "Hey, kid, I remember you. You were the one that told Dominique one day I'll be in the NBA. You want my autograph." And I said, "Yeah." And I was surprised that he remembered. He says, "Well, congratulations. You're here." You know? And
Mm-hmm.
that was the extent of our,
Oh,
communication because everything was just business with these guys. The big guys didn't too much, talk mess out there in the court. It was primarily the little guys who did all of that.
mm-hmm. Okay. How about the Admiral? Nothing?
What's that?
David Robinson, nothing?
No, nothing. All business.
Oh,
All
okay.
business.
No cheap shots.
No, one thing with Robinson, I
Yeah.
was I remember I checked into a game. I had been drinking on the way to the game, and
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking while I was on the bench because I always kept something, some kind of alcohol in my water bottle. And I get out there on the court, and he says, "Wow, big fella, you must have had a good night last night." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "You smell like the bar." I said, "Oh no, I stopped by the liquor store on the way here, and I got such and such, whatever it was I had that night." And I said, "If you want, during the next time out, I have the ball boy send you a shot or two." And he looked at me funny, and he shook his head like, "What's wrong with this kid?" You know. And I just shrugged it off, like, "Okay, more for me."
Nice one, coach. I love that. That's a good story.